Yep. We're live. Welcome to episode 4. Right? Yeah, episode 4
Four.
of Sunrunners, our interactive D&D charity stream featuring the dark matter setting. Our audio is working, our characters are in their appropriate places, and we are ready to go.
For the kids.
Yeah.
For the kids.
I want the
Killing
puppy to knock
kids.
over the box so bad in Dave's background. Knock it over, puppy!
Chewy.com, hashtag not sponsored, but, call us.
Yeah.
So last we left off, our adventurers graduated the Galactic Academy and were assigned the RSV Banneker, which is a research vessel tasked with taking supplies to the moon base on Europa and dropping those off and returning so that they could run diagnostics on the systems and make sure that she is ready for intergalactic flight. But on their way back, they picked up a satellite, a ghost satellite, and it malfunctioned in the cargo bay.
Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
And then as they were approaching FTL travel to return to Earth, or Terra, the FTL drive and the systems kind of malfunctioned and sent them through the maw, which happened to magically turn on, which it repaired, so kind of odd. But they went through the maw while they were faster than light traveling, and it damaged the ship beyond repair. So they are basically dead in the water, or dead in space, I guess, as they have kind of locked the... I thought you had a question for a second. I was like, go ahead, Ronald.
Sorry.
But they are basically dead in space in orbit around this planet, and their life support systems are functioning, so a lot of the crew are maintaining the orbit around this planet, and they have decided, or been assigned, to go down to this planet and retrieve some dilithium crystals that maintain a magical charge so that they can bring those back and charge the FTL drive and get the ship back up and running, as well as trying to find any raw materials like titanium on the planet that can help patch holes in the hull. So that is where we're going to pick up. They have landed the chariot successfully in this little bubble landing pad, and they were approaching the airlock door to kind of go into this derelict city on this jungle planet. So that's where we're picking up.
Uh-huh.
Can you scan for if there's oxygen?
Yeah!
Leroy
God?
Jenkins.
What do I roll? If anything.
You have an Omni tool that can process
Right.
that kind of thing, so you can just say that you're running your Omni tool to scan the atmosphere.
Yeah, I punch at the air.
Yeah, you know how to use your Omni tool. It's not something you have to roll for. So as you process the and you scan through, you realize that this is an atmosphere very similar to Terra. The oxygen levels are actually higher on this planet, as there seems to be a lot of vegetation. And from first glance, as you look through the bubble, you can see that it looks very rainforesty, like a rainforest on Terra. So you can assume that the photosynthesis happening, oxygen exchange is what's causing the elevated oxygen.
Do I know much about the history of Terra? Because I'm not from there. Did they have
But you
history
did
classes
attend
for the
yes,
academy?
You did
Yeah.
attend the Galactic Academy, and you would be familiar with its planets. You would have the history of Terra.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's like
Not too
like
terrible.
65 million years 65 million years ago.
Oh, I remember that.
Do ya?
No.
Oh. All right. That's as long as we can breathe, I'm fine.
We can totally breathe.
Then I'll go ahead and open the doors.
Okay. As you reach out and you rotate that airlock latch, you can hear the steel kind of, and you get this rush of air that kind of like, it feels like the vacuum has been opened, and you get this rush that rushes past you into the hallway, and you get this smell of ozone, and you can kind of, it almost kind of burns your nose a little bit. Not toxic, but you're not used to these
There's so
levels.
much oxygen in
Yeah,
here.
it's very invigorating, and you kind of get lightheaded for a second before you realize
high on life,
that's-
guys.
Yeah.
All right.
And you open up, and it leads into this little room, about 10 by 10. You can see a bunch of buttons on a panel, and you see two doors, one on the left, one on the right. And this room is completely made up of glass, okay, or plexiglass, or something that you can see through. It's translucent. And you can see one tunnel that leads through the left door directly into the derelict city. It looks like it's maybe 400 or 500 yards away. And then on the right-hand side, you can see that there's this platform, and there's this, what looks like a tubular vehicle that's attached to a track that goes miles and miles into the distance. And you can see it, the track continues into the forest, and then kind of comes down a valley, and you can see it peek out through the trees again. And then you see the valley kind of open up into this massive pit with a dome around it.
Right.
And
Do
the
I know
track
what it
seems
is?
to
Do
go
I know
that
what
way.
it is? Do I know what it is?
You know what is? It?
The train.
Oh.
Never seen a train before.
It is, in fact, a train, and you would identify this as a Magna Rail.
Does it? Can I look? Does it look like it still works? Because I want to write it.
Everything in the room is powered down, and everything that attached to that system looks like it's just kind of resting on the rails rather than levitating above it. At this particular point, everything looks like everything's shut down.
Does anybody else want to ride the train?
Is there, as we look around, are these, like, this area's glassed over?
Mhm.
Is there, like, damage in the glass, or is it still holistic? Like, is it still whole?
The area that you're in, the glass looks completely it looks clear. There's no cracks in it, there's no damage to it, but as you're kind of looking around, you do notice as you look through towards the derelict city, there's a lot of damage to that city. It almost looks like something fell from above, because you can see tracks of damage from like building tops all the way down.
Right.
And is that specific city to the path to the left, or
Yes.
the path that the train is going down to the right?
It is the path to the left.
Okay.
There seems to be like a hallway that's attached, and it goes a couple hundred yards, and then it leads into the city.
The monorail doesn't go down that hall.
Right. The monorail is on the right, and it goes around the valley through the trees.
So to the left is just like a walkway?
Right. There's an airlock door, and then there's a hallway for about 100, 200 yards, and then you are in the city.
Okay.
Okay, so this is kind of like a station outside the city that's like, it allows you like a railway for like New York or something. Like you're here, you can walk into the city, or you can take it out.
Right.
Okay.
It has access to the train and to like the landing pads then as well, where we came in. Correct.
Correct. Yes, because the landing pad is right behind you, so you came in. So you can assess that this is probably some kind of hub station for importing, exporting.
Right.
Is there
Oops.
one pad?
There is one pad that you landed on, but there were several other pads around the city.
Around the city, okay.
Audrey, I don't think that is heading in the direction we need to go. So
It absolutely isn't. I just want to write it.
if we have time.
Okay.
Is it possible that the train is going down to, like, is there any indication of mining or ores anywhere? Like,
And what's that big old crater, bud?
Yeah, any like, if we're here for specific types of ore materials, is there any like direct line of sight to anything since we landed here? Just a quick kind of prayer.
What you can see is that there's a giant pit in the ground, and there's this bubble over the pit, and it's a translucent. It's made of the same material that the room that you're currently in, so you can kind of see into it, and you can see that there's this like stone pit, and it appears to be some kind of mine. The distance that you are right now, you can't see details. You can't see mining equipment or anything, but you can definitely tell that it is a stone pit that's been dug down into the ground.
And that's the path the train takes us to.
Yes.
Can I look? Is there a map? If everything is computerized, can I try to turn it on?
You can attempt to turn it on, yes.
That's
I'm gonna
never
turn it on!
It's never failed us before trying to turn something on.
No, right?
I'm going to have you roll a either... Okay, so as you approach the console, you kind of look over the console, and you start to get the feelings of joy as you notice that this console is a little bit more retro than the ship. So I want you to roll your retro tech.
Yes.
Yeah, because the retro tech things has worked out for us so well so
Mhm.
far.
Yeah, this is great.
Hey, I made really great rolls about it.
Look, Beats, what's the worst that could happen?
Okay, I'm sorry. Was that data or tech? Tech?
Yeah, retro tech, yep. I think you have advantage on tech rolls when you're rolling for retro, right? Is that how that
Actually, I
works?
get double proficiency.
Wow.
That's good. Yeah, double proficiency on this
Ooh,
roll.
So that is 15. I rolled a 5 because I'm really good at it.
Oh, all right. Well, that's still good enough for you to
Yeah, Considering level 1. That's amazing.
That's a pretty good roll. So you find the power button, and you're not able to get it online, but you're able to assess that there are probably some missing components that power the station further in the city.
She looks unpleased, but I was like,
Probably
well,
takes AAA batteries, and we can never find AAA batteries.
Always out.
Always out of AAA batteries.
well,
We
Joe.
go back to the ship.
Yes, Ronald.
That's on batteries too.
oh, he said that, not me.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, so I have an interface rig. If I plug it into this, could I temporarily give it power?
Go ahead and give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug in.
Okay. As you plug your interface in and you hit that power button again, Adriadne, there's a spark that kind of goes off, and the lights on the dashboard kind of sputter and sparkle, and then you see this hologram of an individual who is almost Borg-like. It looks like an android, where like half of its face just like organic, and then the rest is all machinery, and it powers up and kind of. Can I help you?
Yes, robot lady. Where does this train go?
The monorail system goes to the mining facility.
What do they mine there?
Titanium ore.
Fucking yes. Thank you so much.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
What planet are we on?
You are on the Corayleia.
Corayleia. Alias? Have you heard of Corayleia?
Oh, I heard of Corellia.
Roll a history check.
All right. Gotta log into D&D Beyond.
And if I join him on that one,
Go for it. Anybody who wants to try to roll history.
16.
You're gonna have a-
minus 16.
Okay, 16.
That's an 11 for me.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
a 13.
I only had an 8.
Okay, so Quinn, you're almost certain you've heard of this place before, but it doesn't make any sense. Corayleia is a planet that no longer exists in that time frame. It was destroyed a long time ago. Talking tens of thousands of years.
So this could be like a new Corellia that we don't know about or something.
Right. You could make any kind of assumption from that information, but Corayleia is a planet you think you've heard of in some sort of history lesson or textbook somewhere, but it doesn't line up with what you expect because that planet is no longer in existence. Supposedly has went the way of the dinosaurs tens of thousands of years ago.
No dinosaurs. Does that is there any particular like reason why that would have been taught that I would recall? Like, was it because something happened in a flash, or because like
You heard the word dinosaurs, and you're like,
that's right? Was it like, oh, don't do what this planet did and like start a nuclear war, or was it more like and then it just disappeared?
The history books say that the planet was decimated by asteroid impact.
Oh, okay. Well, we got good news, guys. Okay. Take that note. Hopefully, we don't find out this session.
We need to stock up on dilithium crystals. Nice robot lady. Do you know where we could find some?
Scanning for dilithium crystals. And her image kind of wavers back and forth. You can kind of see the eyes are like flickering up and down. Like the robot eye is flashing and then the organic eye is like flicking up and down as it's trying to scan. Dilithium crystals are found in building B15.
Can
And
you
then-
show me building B15?
As you say that, a map pulls up of the city, and there's a red dot on building B15.
Can we take like a snapshot of that with our Omni tool?
Or download something.
Quick pick. No.
Selfie.
Snapchat.
Hey.
Take a Snapchat.
I had it in my storyboard. I showed it. So I already looked at it, so now it's gone.
Damn it.
This is the worst program.
So as you're downloading this map onto your interface because you're plugged in right now, providing power, Alias, it's easy enough to transfer over. As you're doing that, your guide starts to kind of flicker a little bit more, and you can kind of see it getting dimmer.
I do
Please be
legit take a picture of
warned
it.
taking a picture of the map.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't joking.
Yeah, no, totally.
You're all able to do that if you pull up your Omni tool. You can take a picture of it, and as it begins to dim, the hologram says, "Please be warned, the city is not safe." And then the power drains from the console.
I'm gonna unplug. And then, did I actually get the image or the information?
Yeah, you got the map, and they all took pictures. So you have this holographic, downloaded 3D like map of the city,
Can I like?
and they have a 2-dimensional picture of this.
Can I like cell phone tap everybody and give that to them too? Is that something that I can do?
Absolutely, you could share files amongst yourselves.
Share the file in the Google
Up
Drive.
here.
Yeah.
We were all androids.
Yeah, I'm gonna like go on my OneDrive and just share it to everybody.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
As the one guy who probably doesn't have an Omni tool, I'll just count on you guys to keep it up.
I'll send it to your data pad.
Oh, I got one of those.
Yeah, the data pad is it doesn't provide a holographic 3D thing, but you can have it. It's kind of like a 360 virtual tours where you can kind of click and
Oh, yeah.
drag through.
I,
Yeah, augmented reality. There you go.
yeah. Run into the walls. So while that's happening, is it what time of the day is it? It must be daytime if we can see this kind of see out.
Actually, yes, I forgot to mention. There is actually a sun directly on Terra. It would probably be about 11:30.
Mhm.
But as you see that sun there, you also notice that there's a secondary sun setting in the back.
Okay.
It's
It's high noons.
yeah.
right.
Matthew Mercer would.
No kidding.
It's always high noon.
Okay, well, I'm going to, I'm gearing up if it's dangerous. So I'm probably going to keep the glaive in the back, but keep the rifle out. Hearing that it's dangerous, and ask the group, so where to first? The
City.
Cities,
the mine.
yeah.
We got the actual map, so we might as well go in.
I've got one question, Joe.
Yes.
The like the monorail that heads down towards the mine. Is there also a walking track, or can the track be walked on?
The track is very thin. You'd have to walk single file, and there's no outside railing, so if you were to fall, you would fall off the track. And where it's at the station, it wouldn't be a big deal, but you can see as the track pardon me, continues on through the forest, there are some places where it's just kind of got these pillars that are hundreds of feet tall, and if you fall, you're falling into a ravine or something. Pardon me, sorry.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Since I have the map, can I kind of, using how I kind of navigate and how I kind of like build images together, do I see anything on the map that might be familiar in some sort of power station or a location that would generate some kind of electricity, like other solar panels, or because we don't know obviously like what kind of power they use, if it's oil, gas, solar, wind, it could be anything. So any kind of indication of something that might look like it's a power building?
Yeah, as you kind of manipulate this map and pull it around, you can see that there are several substations that you can easily identify. But the main building is towards the very far north end of the city, and it's kind of separated from the city by quite a bit of distance. You're probably looking at least a mile between the last building and then this facility.
Okay, so it could be like a nuclear power plant or something. They just built it outside the city a little
Right,
bit,
and then
or something.
You can see that there are several substations. There's actually 5 different substations that are intermingled throughout the city that seem to be connected to this power.
Okay, so we probably have to, either the power's already on, we'd have to kick it on a substation, or we'd have to go all the way to the place and turn it on if we wanted to.
At this point, you can't determine which of those two scenarios
the
is
case.
true, but you can definitely see that the infrastructure underneath the city, they are all connected to each other. So if there's power,
They would work, hopefully.
Just have to send one person out into the jungle to reset the generator,
Yeah,
because you know it works so well.
Yeah, I'm
when
not
it-
doing
but
that.
only when it rains.
Yeah, it has to
raining
also
really
be
heavily.
pouring.
Yeah.
see how
Yeah,
many
I'm gonna share that with
monotropies we
everybody.
can hit in the same time, right?
Well, while everybody else is kind of gearing up, Beats is going to activate the automaton, and he's going to have it bring like a small crate so that we can, if we do find crystals or anything, we can fill up the crate and have the automaton kind of bring it back for us. So
Well, once we find it, we can just use the crystals we got to teleport them up to the ship. Remember?
well, he's coming with a crate anyway in case we find other goodies to bring back.
Yeah,
to the ship.
goodies.
Yeah, if we
We
can
also-
find some titanium along the way.
I was gonna
we
say
can-
the titanium's probably in the mine.
He's
That's
our
probably
automaton of holding. So
Yes, the automaton powers up and walks over and grabs a crate, and you see it push a button on the side of the crate, and the bottom of the crate just turns black.
I jump in. Just kidding. Cool.
All right,
Okay.
let's head up.
I'm as we head off the ship, just a few things. One, I'll just send a quick message to the Banneker and let them know that we've landed and where we're headed. I don't know if they'll get it, but I'll send it to them. I'll have my log keeper activated when I'm sending that message, just to get a twofer. And then as we are leaving the ship, are the doors, like when we leave the chariot, is it like we all leave the cargo bay and it's like a 10-foot wide cargo bay, or is there like a door that we leave, that's like just a regular doorway? Like,
So-
how do you get out of the ship?
When you landed the chariot, you were in the little helipad, and I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure you're already outside because in a separate room now.
Okay,
There
got
are
it.
2 like doors that just kind of slide open. They kind of butterfly. They kind of like into the floor panels.
Got it.
So it's like a double wide 10-foot door.
That's a cool door.
That
These
is a
doors
cool
are
door.
winning. These doors are winning the door challenge. So I'm going to go back if I can, just if it's not an inconvenience. I'm just going to go back through the doors and take some vent tape, and I'm going to pull it across across the doorway. Not trying to keep the doors closed. I'm just trying to use it as to see if someone opens the door or comes through
Gotcha.
that it would be moved. So I'm just trying to just vent it. Just put some duct tape up,
Okay.
but not duct tape, vent tape. It's different.
Specific.
It's more arcane, and it costs gold and silver pieces. And I'm going to use it to just as a marker to see if anyone comes by on our way back.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take my giant concussion rifle and I will lead the party.
All right.
I don't know where, but I'll just take the first shots.
Just down
So
the
when
hallway.
he comes back, I'm just gonna be like, so did you forget the keys or what?
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, no, I just had to go get my duct tape in case you talk too much.
Oh,
And then I'll put it on my belt and we'll keep walking.
Fair
With
enough.
my badass gun.
So we are going into the city. Everybody's agreed with that.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to the mine. I'm just messing
Uh-oh.
with you. We're going to the city.
Oh my god.
Joe, I'm gonna pull out of my pocket little stick, press the button, and release. And it looks like a little stick with a little gem on the top. And what happens is it releases down into a full, a quarterstaff. So it's about this wide, and it's plasteel or some kind of metal. And at the top is that gem, and then two almost like wings go around and meet toward the top, and they almost touch but they don't. And I have my weapon out ready to go.
Nice.
I have a large wrench.
I love it.
Did you
I have a
not
cool
bring any?
carbine. I
Did
have
you
a
not bring any
cool
guns?
stick. I have a wrench.
I mean, I did, but I'm better at wielding this. You want to see?
I feel like I'm not surprised.
I mean, I asked everyone if they were. Let's just go.
I have other weapons.
No, you're fine. You're fine. If you're comfortable fighting like that, that's fine.
This is a multi-tool.
I believe.
I
you.
can fix and break with it.
I believe you. I just want to make sure that we don't all die. That's literally my job.
Joe, quick question about
fair.
toolkits.
Mhm.
So my Quinn is proficient in and has somewhere mechanics tools and tinker's tools.
Okay.
I know sometimes tool sets can be massive, workshops as opposed to tools. Are these tool sets, are either of those tool sets something that I would have brought with and could carry them on my person, or are they larger where they have to be on the chariot, or maybe even larger where they have to be on the banneker?
So in order to use these tools, you have to have a space that's wide enough, like a 5x5 foot space, because they do expand out into workshops. However, to carry them with you, you push a button, they collapse in on themselves,
Cool.
and they turn into this little 6-inch by 10-inch briefcase.
Man,
Carry with you.
the Swiss just got smarter. Cool, very cool. All right, I'll have both those with me.
They're all Swiss made. Everything
all-
is made
yeah,
by
they're all
Swiss.
Victor
It's the
Nex or
alien
whatever.
Swiss.
Yeah, the alien Swiss.
All right, let's head
All
out.
right, let's go.
Kitty.
I'll be keeping a lookout. I have some binoculars, so I'll just kind of I feel like Luke Skywalker, Tatooine, checking for sand people, except with no weapons. What an idiot! He's going around Tatooine with no weapons. I've got a concussion rifle, so we're good.
Hey Joe, sorry, one more question before
Okay.
we actually head out. Does the Omni tool count as a motion tracker, or a sensor to scanner, or is that I know Hades has a proper scanner? Would that double as a radar gun?
Your Omni tools aren't. They're basically very, very standardized, limited tools. If you want to scan, you can do a basic scan, and it'll tell you basic information. But if you want
About something specific.
yeah, if you
Okay.
want specifics, you have to have a scanner.
Okay.
A basic scan would be I'm going to scan this room for life form, that kind of thing, and it would tell you yes, there are 4 life forms in this.
Okay.
5 life forms in this room. But
Or
it
life-
wouldn't tell you
Life forms.
size. It wouldn't tell you species. It wouldn't tell you any of that stuff. It would say yes, there are 5
Super
life.
basic level. Okay.
Now the
Okay, cool.
scanner, if you use the scanner, obviously it's going to break down size of the life form, if it's moving, that kind of stuff. If it can tell you what race it is, tell you what species, that kind of stuff.
Okay. All right. I will have my gun. I won't have it out, but I will have my hand on the
On the hill.
holster, just ready.
All
you know.
right. So you stand in front of this this airlock door, and there is a lever that you pull to open this thing. It's not like the iron turn handle like on a subway.
And this is to get into the city.
This is to get into the hallway city. Yep.
Okay. Then I will.
As you pull down that lever and you click it into place, you hear the sss of the airlock, and the door kind of pulls open a little bit, and it's on these hinges that almost make the door feel weightless as you move it, but you can tell this is a very heavy door. And as you swing the door open, the lights that are very similar to the ones on the Banneker, they're like these fluorescent lights along the top of the hallway. They kind of flicker, and they pop, and you can hear the electricity kind of like pop, pop, buzz, buzz, as these red lights are just kind of flickering in this hallway. And on the front side of the door, you can see 4 large slash marks in the metal that kind of tear and rip the metal out of place.
Red means danger.
And I pull out the hand cannon. Just yeah. Okay.
And you
So-
can see all the way down about 150 yards away from you is another door just like this one.
Is it all lit up?
The door, no.
No, this pathway.
The pathway is kind of flickering with that red light.
Okay. Gonna
right.
tap, cast light on the tip of my staff, my son's staff,
Okay.
and just kind of hold it forward. That way we'd have clear, like, no one would fall into something if there was a hole there, if we can't see something clearly.
That
And
bright
I'll
lights up the hallway.
I'll take the flashlight, and I'll just attach. I don't know if I can attach it onto the rifle or not.
You have your vent tape, so yes, you can.
I will vent tape it on. I'll vent tape a flashlight onto a concussion rifle, because that's what you do in your spec ops.
Yeah.
And and I'll turn that on, so I at least have a cone of light also. And as we're going, or at least moving forward, Quinn will talk to the group, and just confirm with Adriani, sorry. So this robot friend you were talking to back there,
Yeah.
Corayleia?
Yeah.
Did I hear that right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember about Corayleia, right? You didn't sleep through that class.
I tinkered through that class.
Well, Corayleia,
Didn't sleep, but if it didn't pertain to current events, I didn't pay attention.
all right, well, first, if I'm the smartest one here, we got real problems. But maybe something about destruction of an entire planet really caught my attention, because, in case you don't remember, this place doesn't exist because it was destroyed by asteroids. Corayleia was destroyed by asteroids
Oh.
Do you remember what,
10,000 years ago.
do you remember what species used to live on this planet?
Was that like old Corellia, or is that like Corellia? Like,
or new Corellia?
I was kind of hoping when I asked if anyone else recognized the name that would help me with the questions. But I
No,
don't
I mean,
remember.
you said the planet was destroyed from the asteroids. I mean, that would make sense given he's just gonna gestures wildly at everything.
But we're here.
But
Yeah,
the planet should still
the
exist.
The
It's just
planet
probably
exists. It's just I'm assuming the city and the planet was riddled with asteroids.
yeah.
And
So like the people living here died and no one recolonized, but
Well, you guys
the
remember
planet
that?
wouldn't just be gone.
No,
You
yeah,
guys
was
remember
it
your
like
kids? Sci-Fi, where the station, the moon comes and shoots the laser out of it and blows up the planet? Remember that TV show?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how I remember Corayleia.
Like the planet ceased to exist completely.
Like the planet was destroyed, not the population. Like the
the
planet.
whole thing? Oh no.
Yeah, I guess it's just gonna kind of look around and be like, I mean, we're here.
I mean, history is wrong all the time.
Okay. Well,
Also, planets die all the time.
That's
we
that's
will
really
have
deep.
to put that on the backlog. I'm not liking the vibes of getting from the plan, and what you just told me does not make me want to stay here any longer. So let's go get this crystals and some titanium.
Hey,
And
did anyone see the
Was it the big claw
flashes?
marks
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
doorway
yeah,
that made
yeah.
you nervous, Hades?
exactly, exactly.
Hades, you shouldn't
Not
be
a fan.
nervous. You're the security guy. Why are you nervous? Like,
I'm not nervous. I'm
you being
cautious.
nervous has now made me
want to-
nervous. I
hey.
was calm until I know you were nervous.
Did you guys hear that?
I'm
Did you guys
not-
hear that?
I'm not nervous.
I'm just
What?
messing with you. I
Okay.
didn't hear anything.
It's not whether you're
Man.
nervous, it's whether you can work through being nervous.
I'm gonna check to see if I hear anything now that I said that. Is there anything, like sounds particularly dangerous or that maybe has 4 giant claws that could be approaching us?
No, you are currently in the middle of the hallway at this point. The door that you left open is still open, and then you're about halfway
Shit,
down the
I closed
hallway.
that door.
Is
Let's not. In case we
Is
need
my-
to run.
is my thermal
Okay.
sight picking up anything? Any movement? Like if I pan down the hall?
Your thermal sight is entirely blue. Everything looks cold and dead,
Okay.
except for there's like a little bit of orange whenever the red light like flickers. You can see the light kind of.
Okay.
There seems to be some kind of heat source associated with the light.
Hades
Well-
is cold. He has
Well,
no.
guys, I'm not picking up any life forms, so whatever made the claw marks isn't here currently. If that puts your mind at ease, Hades.
I'm just gonna keep walking forward.
Okay. You get to the other door at this point, and you notice. Go ahead.
How tall is it? How tall is the hallway here?
These are 10-foot hallways.
Okay,
Well,
so not like
10 feet at the top, and then they angle down. So they're 8 feet tall walls, and then they angle up to 10 feet.
Peak at the 10. Okay.
They're kind of that. They
Okay.
put the flat, and then lines, and
like
then
an arch. An arch.
Yeah.
very sci-fi arch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And the same thing. Pull the leather.
Actually, when you get to the door, you notice that the lever is already down, and the door is ajar. It is not a door; it's a jar.
Ah!
It's a door.
I will
It is
do a
open.
perception. I will kind of, open it a little bit and do a perception check
Okay.
out.
Just like this one, it opens outwards. Just like the other one, it opens outwards, so that the hallway is contained, and both doors open outwards. And so you push the door open, and you push it. See that there's this facility that seems to be enclosed. The town is in this like bubble-like dome. Remember, sending you saw that there was a bubble, and you can
Right.
see that there's glass that's been shattered, and it's not secure anymore. So the door slides open, and in front of you, about so about 50 yards ahead of you is this metal bridge that goes across this chasm in the ground. And coming up from the chasm, you can smell this like almost sulfuric brimstone smell, and you can see this like steam smoke that comes up from underneath the chasm. And the bridge is about 250 yards long. And past this bridge, there's a facility, a large facility that seems to be kind of crumbling and derelict, made of metal, on the right-hand side of the bridge. And then there are 2 buildings on the left-hand side of the bridge. One of them, the furthest one, looks like it would probably be a substation. It's a rather small building compared to the rest of the facility. And then the kind of dirt road that follows past the bridge kind of veers off to the right, to the north, where you can see the tops and stuff of other buildings.
Okay.
In the distance,
Do I see anyone? Any humanoid or monstrous figures?
you don't see any movement. There doesn't seem to be any life moving around on the planet's surface.
Okay. And do I see any like what look like transport vehicles?
There are several vehicles that look like they would have been hover cars at some point in time that are just kind of crashed and buried into the ground. It looks very apocalyptic. Like something major happened. in fact, one of the vehicles that you see that looks like it was heading towards the bridge and just kind of veered off has some massive damage where the metal is imploded inward and it's charred on the ends of it.
So none of them look serviceable? Okay. Looks like we're huffing it on foot, guys.
While we're walking, can I kind of like take everything in and like rack my brain, like how long ago this damage must have happened?
Or what kind of damage it is exactly?
Does the metal like rusty and
Yeah. You definitely
Like, is it 1,000 years old rust or is it like a week old rust? You know, like
rust. You'd have to use a scanner to determine, like, carbon date the rust or something like that. Visually, rust is rust, but you do see that there's a lot of rust covering. You can assume because the dome is broken, moisture is getting in, and it's causing a lot of the metal to start to rust.
Right.
You can still see metal surface, so it doesn't look like it's long been rusting, but you can see rust in there, and you know how long it takes for metal to start rusting and everything.
but it's also, you said highly oxygenated, right?
Yeah.
Which happens faster.
Uh-huh.
So we really have no idea. It could be a week old, it could be months old.
Yeah, we don't know the rate here.
I will.
I'm just looking at you guys looking at rust. Like, what is going on?
I'm not. Unless Elias asks me to scan it, I have no particular interest in
Hey,
finding
somebody scan this rust!
some meta. All right.
She would ask if someone had a scanner. She'd be like, I gotta know
I will
about
take my
this
scanner and
goddamn
scan it.
rust.
I mean, while we're walking, I'll take out my scanner and like scan one of the cars.
Okay. So as you scan the car, and I have a thing for that.
I
Yay.
thought that was a sound effect. It was you.
As you scan through that, you get feedback that this rust, acclimated to the atmosphere that you're currently at, is anywhere from 100 to 200 years of rust accumulation.
I will
It's still
relay
not
that back.
10,000.
This happened fairly 100 years recent than what we've been told. So I don't know what's going on.
All right.
Is anyone else like losing their sense of trust in reality, or is it just me?
No, I just want to get off this planet.
You don't have to worry about trust in reality when you can trust the sun. There's two of them here, so.
Twice as trustworthy.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Keeps walking.
I'm gonna.
I am just joking.
Also, what caused this damage? Like, what kind of damage is it?
Are
Is
you
it like
doing another-
ballistics? Or like plasma?
I need
ballistics, or it got knocked around from getting sucked into a maw or something?
If you're trying to acquire that information, I'll need you to do a investigate check.
I'll
Oh.
join with my wonderful binoculars.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking up. Let's see
Okay.
if I could see what's in the glass damage.
Gotcha. Okay.
16.
Okay. 15 for you. What did you get?
8!
Wow.
I got
Okay.
an 18.
All right.
Nice.
Oh, wait, sorry. 9.
Okay, so Adriadne, you kind of like run your finger across the rust and you look at it, and that's rust. You confirm that's
Sure is rust, you guys.
oxidized iron.
Suspicious.
Very suspicious.
Oxidized iron. So Quinn, as you look up and you kind of adjust your binoculars to look at the glass, you do notice that there are like char marks around the edges where it's broken through, and it looks like there's definitely some sort of projectile that came from above and smashed the glass or plexiglass or whatever the material is inwards.
Yeah.
Hades. As you're kind of looking through and you're kind of scanning the char mark and the rust around the char marks and everything, you do get feedback for plasma, which kind of states that perhaps there's also something else going. If it were an
My
asteroid,
Yeah,
My
asteroid
next
will not
question,
have
I
that.
was gonna see if there were any broken up meteorites laying around all this destruction. There'd be pieces, chunks of rock or something.
okay. As you're looking through with your thermal vision, you don't see any kind of meteorite laying in the ground. There are craters in various spots, but they also look more like
Impact marks instead of.
no, they look
Like-
more like explosions than impacts.
Oh, okay.
Like things were blown outwards rather than things were pushed inward.
Almost like a grenade or a mine or something.
As you're looking at that, you catch thermal movement dashing from what looks like the substation area across to another building and disappearing behind the building.
I do?
Yes, you do. You're the one with the thermal vision.
Okay. I think. Heads up, crew. We got movement.
Where at?
What is it, like a squirrel?
I don't know.
How big was it?
You
How
would be
big
able
was
to
it?
tell size. It was actually probably about the size of Adriadne.
It was something small, but not rodent like or tiny animal like.
It did seem to be bipedal. Pedal?
Bipedal, yeah. Yes, it was bipedal. We had movement over by the substation. Peter, you picking up anything with your binoculars?
We all just look over.
Hey, sorry, what? No.
I'll take a look.
Okay. Now, your binoculars, do they have different settings or are they just straight up binoculars?
Let me check. I think they are just straight up binoculars. I think they allow you to let's see here. I'm pulling it up right now.
8K.
So sorry. These are all the packs that come with it. Okay. Objects viewed through binoculars are magnified to 10 times their size. So if it is,
Okay.
if the bridge is 250 yards and it's 100, so it's 350 yards. So it's as though it was 35 yards away. So 100 feet away.
So, where are you looking with them? In what direction?
I'm just gonna follow wherever he's like. It sounds like there's like a substation and then a road and then there's like a bigger building, like
Okay.
a factory or some kind. I'll just like look at the road, like in between, and just look to see if I could
Okay.
catch anything.
As he's doing that, I'm going to start moving towards, because you said the substation was on the other side of the bridge.
Right. You have to cross the
Alright.
bridge to
There's
get
a
to.
big
I
bridge
want
between
I
us.
want to start approaching towards the bridge with my ion cannon up, just continuing to scan with my thermal. If I get any more movement to kind of direct
Okay.
his sight, like 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock,
I'll
if I
follow
do
behind.
catch him.
Beats, can I hitch a ride on you?
Sure.
Thanks.
As you climb up Beats and get a good position, the android kind of walks up and is like maybe 2
Two
feet.
in the box.
Yeah, 2 feet away.
Forgot about that thing already.
You want to have it follow me because I'm probably not going to be in the front.
Yeah, you have to hit shift to get the secondary commands on the nav bar, and then you have to hit F for follow, and then you have to click A.
Yeah.
Is that? Come on, I hate this thing. It's like just messing with it.
I know it still runs under DOS. What can I say?
Mm.
So
Like
if you're
can't be
telling it
hacked.
to
No one
do
knows how to
that,
use it.
it would
Yeah.
acknowledge by you hear a beep, beep, then it shifts its position so that it is now behind Elias.
I will walk side by side. Beats
Okay.
hand cannon ready as we approach the bridge.
So as you're coming up to the bridge, you can see that this chasm is very deep. You can't see the bottom of it, but it starts to feel warmer as you approach, and that steam almost kind of it's that you definitely smell that brimstone. So you can assume that there's some sort of magma or lava activity.
Man, I hate bridges.
Now I know it wouldn't bother me, but would I be able to pick up any kind of reading of like the sulfur levels that, like, it wouldn't be safe for these guys to cross? Like they
Right.
would have to put their helmets back on or something.
You do you scan through and you can see that there are elevated levels of sulfur, but it doesn't seem to be toxic enough to kill them. It'll probably be very displeasant.
Okay. You guys might want to put your helmets back on across this bridge. You're going to be hacking a little bit.
Yeah, immediately. Helmet back
So,
on.
and
Guys are up.
as I approach the bridge, I do want to, as soon as I get on the bridge, I want to like turn on my magna boots just in case there is some kind of like a weak structure like moving, you know.
Okay.
So when the bridge
kinda-
breaks and a piece falls off, you want to go right down with it.
Well, that too, but
I am secure.
This is a pretty long bridge. Joey mentioned it was like 250 yards. Is it like a highway going across this thing, or is it like a Indiana Jones bridge? Like
No,
a
it
rope
is
bridge?
definitely wide enough for several vehicles. Three vehicles, like 3 chariot sizes wide.
Got it. So pretty big.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it seems to be made of some sort of metal. You do see spots of rust, and as Beats is starting to cross across this, you can hear that metal creaking sound.
Mm-hmm.
Beats, you don't get the sense that this thing is going to fall apart, but you do get the sense that it's stressed.
Well, yeah, it's
We-
sitting over freaking.
we might want to
lava.
spread out a little bit so we're not all on the same area.
I'll be in the middle. I'll be in the middle.
I'll stick with being, still level with in position with Beats, but I'll be 15 feet away.
Hey
And
Joe,
I'll
Yes.
summon my shield.
since I'm in the back, where we came through, did it look like we passed through the only way to the side of the bridge, or was there other passageways? Like, could something easily hop down behind us and chase us down the bridge, or is this kind of like we've passed through the only way?
Right, the bubble
Here.
comes down on this side of the ravine that you're on. The facility is kind of like the only exit, and the ravine kind of cuts underneath the bubble. So it almost looks like, as you're kind of looking down and through that the ravine has kind of appeared, and they put the bridge there after they put the bubble there.
Gotcha. So like there was a big sinkhole, and they're like, ah, shit, and they put a bridge up. Okay. Okay.
And-
So yeah,
I hope
I
this
don't
thing
think.
doesn't get bombarded.
Yeah, and probably after about every, I don't know, 40, 50 yards, I will stop and kind of do a quick scan, kind of, so we're not continuing to move into something, but like we'll stop, observe, move, stop, observe, move. Like we'll do that, or I'm going to do that down as we move across this bridge.
Yeah, you take that kind of pattern as you guys are crossing the bridge, and it takes you maybe 15 minutes to cross this 250 yards in that slow pattern. But it's uneventful. You don't see any movement. Nothing seems to pop up. The bridge does creak a few times, but it seems, as you're all crossing it, it seems like it's still fairly solid, if not a little.
Okay.
So you get to the other side of the bridge, and immediately to your left is the substation facility. It looks like it's fairly small. It's maybe like a 10-yard by 10-yard building. And behind it, you see this remnant of a metal tower that seems to be just bent downwards, like something hit it and it just
Oops.
collapsed halfway through. Another 40 yards west of that, sorry, directionally challenged. Another 40 yards west of that is another building, and then another 40 yards and a bit to the north is the facility that you assume is sort of like security station or armory or something. It looks military in nature.
Hmm.
And that is the
Um,
building that the thermal vision you saw it kind of move across.
It went into the security room, the security building.
Right. Behind you saw it go behind the building.
Okay.
Power to the train. Where would I go to make that happen?
I was going to ask you that same question. Is that what substations do? Substations for power. I feel like in Fallout, when you go to a substation, it has to do with
Yeah.
power. Why don't we check out? This is a small building, right? You said it was like 10 by 10.
Let's go in.
I'm gonna swing the concussion rifle back, break out the glaive, and I'm gonna try to see if we can't. Well, before I open the door, I should probably ask, hey, do you guys want to go in? Want to check this place out?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the substation.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll watch outside just in case.
All right. I'll open the door.
I'm gonna before he opens the door, I'm gonna cast light, kind of like almost like I'm passing it to the door, but on like the corner that swings into the room.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's kind of like the lights on the outside. When he pushes the door through, it lights up the interior for him.
Nice.
I'm gonna be fancy with my light.
Ooh.
Use that cantrip.
The sun.
Beats, what are you doing?
Playing music.
I'm keeping an
Hopefully
eye
not
out
too long.
for the.
Is Adriani still on my shoulders, or is she?
If you're not going in, then I would have clambered off.
She smokes the top of the doorway and falls off.
I will probably. I'll move inside with them. I will imagine if they're opening the door, I'll probably, since Hades is going to stay out here, I'll move in first with my thermal vision to kind of scan,
Okay.
but kind of slowly, and I'll pan the room with my ion cannon, kind of do a slow scan
Okay.
with the thermal.
So Hades is kind of staying out and kind of watching the rest of the town, right? You're just kind of keeping an eye.
Right. Yeah, and I'll keep a specific eye on that security area where he said the creature went to.
I'm also staying outside. I just lit the door.
Okay. So the two of
I'm
you
not
are
going
staying
in.
outside. When as you open the door, this thing kind of slides open, and it's a little heavier. It's not like on these special hinges, and it kind of slides open, and the light kind of lights up. But then you realize that there's probably no need for the light on there because the corner of the substation has been torn apart, and you can see through the ceiling of the corner of this facility. And as Beats is doing his scan, you see several thermal signatures of small creatures kind of flutter in a panic as the door swings open out through that opening. Hades and Elias, you hear this sound of like what almost sounds like bats flapping, kind of as these creatures dissipate and kind of go through the ceiling of this building and out towards the opening in the glass dome.
Okay.
Kind of like when Adriani, as you are in the center of this building, you can see that the ceiling has been decimated, but most of the consoles and everything still look like they're intact. There does seem to be a coil, and then there's another coil mounted on the wall, and there's this wire that's just dangling precariously from one of the coils. Adriani, it looks like at some point they probably connected to continue a circuit, but they have since been disconnected.
Can I connect them? I want to connect them.
Okay, you can certainly run in there and connect them.
I'm gonna do it.
You two touch precarious wires.
Yeah. First, I'll check and make sure they're not like live.
Okay.
How do you check? I lick my finger and touch it.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you using your scanner tool? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I have an Omni tool. I guess it would probably tell me that.
Yep. So you and scan through it, and it is indeed a live wire.
Okay, then there's no power. There is power somewhere then. Okay. Is there a console or something that I can use to shut off the power just here?
Yes,
Do
to the
you
right of
have
that.
Mage Hand?
That's a good question because I still haven't prepared any of my spells.
Would you like Mage Hand to be one of them?
Gnome
That's the thing
hand.
about- yeah. It's the thing with sorcerers. You
um,
don't have to prepare them. You just have them.
yeah, I can just do whatever. No, sure. No, I feel like that's cheating.
If
I
you
mean,
don't
the
want to
DM
use it.
The DM said it. I mean, he's giving it to you on a hot plate right there.
All right, I will eat that dinner. Okay, Mage Hand.
Okay.
Shoo-boop.
So bad.
So you and this little hologram of your hand pops out, and it's almost kind of, it imitates your hand, and it reaches out and grabs that wire, and you can see it kind of get brighter and brighter as it reaches across and connects the wire. There's this little eye hook that connects it to the thing, and you see all the consoles begin to, and they light up, and they're here in the city. Hades and Elias, some of the lights kind of in the buildings flicker on, and you can see all those ruins. They're in every single one of them that kind of flicker on. Those same creatures, those bat-like creatures, just flutter, and there's this swarm of creatures that kind of like circle
Aw, sorry,
around,
bats.
and they all leave out the dome.
Vengeance. Okay.
I have to turn this off when we leave.
They'll get used to it.
But there is also a light in the corner of the room that you're in that flickers on, powers on, and it outshines the light cantrip that's on the door. So you can assume that there's probably power almost everywhere.
Awesome.
Also, when I cast magic, all the little circuits and stuff on my head kind of like boop, light up and, move and sparkle
I
and
already
stuff.
thought about that.
That's cool.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Power. I bet we can take the train later now.
Awesome. All right.
Wait, one real quick question before we go. Did it look like somebody cut it, or that like something just fell on it and ripped it?
It did feel like it was just like it's not even really secured on there because it was just this little eye hook that you had slid on there. It looks like some of the hardware that locked that into place is missing,
Okay.
but you were able to connect it.
Sweet.
Any containers that would hold any sort of like personal effects, lockers, desks.
There is a desk in this
Cabinets.
room. There's no lockers.
Can I just check the desk? I don't need to I can't pick it or anything. I'll just check it and see what's in there.
Yeah. None of the drawers are locked, so you're able to slide open, and it looks like as you open the bottom drawer, there's a bunch of files, and they're all labeled with different subsections of the city, and it looks like it's probably some kind of ordinance, keeps track of things. And then as you slide open the big desk or the big drawer in the center, there's a couple pens and pencils and various writing utilities. There's some bent tape. There's also several pieces of paper, and there's a data pad.
Okay. I'm going to put away my glaive. I'm going to take the paper, the ordinances, everything. The best looking pen. I'll take the best looking pen, and then I'll take the data pad, and I'm going to carry them out to the automaton. And I think I will keep the data pad with me, but I'll put all the paperwork in the box.
Is there a stapler?
There is a stapler, yeah.
I take the rest of the pens and the stapler and put them in my fanny pack.
You have
Now you can shoot staples at people
you
now.
have 4 pens and a stapler with 125 staples.
There you
Yes.
go. Put that in your. Make sure that's in your inventory.
My foot
Yeah.
range.
It's going to be instrumental to the future of our
Exactly.
campaign.
Mhm.
It's how we defeat the big boss of the campaign.
When the
Mhm.
gravity goes out, you're gonna staple yourself at the bridge.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
I'm
And
gonna put the
Quinn, as you put the paperwork in there, it just kind of like falls into this black hole and disappears.
cool.
Hey Quinn, where'd that go?
It went to
Somewhere in the Soul
Wherever.
Galaxy.
yeah. It's,
Just paperwork floating somewhere.
I don't know. I'll look at Beats and just shrug. I don't know. I don't know where that
Hey,
goes.
hey, Quinn, you didn't happen to catch any dates or anything on the paperwork, did you?
No, I just put it in the box. I just figured, nobody believes that this place exists anymore, so we might as well just take as many records as we can. Plus, everybody knows you don't stop during missions to read this stuff. You just bag it and you tag it later.
Bag it, tag it.
Guys, you don't mind if we stop over to that security off the building?
We definitely should.
Because I
Mhm.
want, not just because of the creature, but I want to see, they will have CTV of the city, and I want to see recordings of what really happened.
Well,
Also, new guns and new equipment.
Ooh.
What? No, that's not the other reason I want to
That's why I want
Or-
to go.
It might be new to us, but they might be old guns and old equipment.
There
Or
was
a bunch of
plasma damage over there.
Or a bunch of
Ah.
I would go for a plasma gun because
Okay.
plasma is not popular, right, Joe? We have laser stuff, but not plasma.
Mm.
Plasma's like
hardcore.
Something, well, no, something. I don't think this place was hit with meteors. I think plasma was rained above at them.
Yeah, so we want the plasma to rain it down on other people.
yeah, but, like plasma isn't a thing that we have like on the Banneker. Like
No,
it's not a
everything's
common weapon.
laser. Yeah, plasma is not something common to the Banneker. Most of the weapons that you have are all laser weapons.
Yeah, so like my staff has a laser staff. It's
Yeah.
not plasma.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I can
I
use
look at this
plasma gun.
box and figure out what kind of box it is, where it might be going, like what.
These are pretty
Whoa.
standard. They have little pocket dimensions that they store items in. There is a limit
Oh.
to what they store or how much they can store.
You guys didn't believe me when they said our automaton of holding.
But yeah, when you drop it in, there's a little pocket dimension that you can store more than the crate actually physically could hold,
That's
provided it fits in the little 10-inch by 10-inch hole. I guess it would be by 13.
That's good
Just
enough.
a
Like a
little-
foot by foot.
I'm going to thinking about Beats' questions. I really want to make sure that Beats' eyes are up. So I'm going to take the data pad, which I did not put in the box. I'm going to toss it to Elias, and I'm going to say, "Hey, why don't you read up on this real quick? And maybe we should wait on scanning it for any sort of viruses or anything until we get back to the ship." That was a joke.
We should hook it up to the chariot and see if it has any viruses.
Mhm,
And
yeah.
I'm
then
just
I'll,
gonna take my staff and just kind of like click it onto my back, or like a magnetic attachment or whatever. And then while we're walking or while we're doing anything, I'm just gonna skim through it
Okay,
because I can just plug my rig into it if it's still offline or something.
gotcha.
But I'm
come
not
back.
stopping. I'm just walking.
Get your little
Yeah.
Google Glass up, just reading while you're walking.
We'll come back to that in just a second. Hades is kind of leading the way towards the security area, right?
Right.
Okay. So when you get there, there is a door, and it does not have a handle on it. And you see that there's a panel next to the door that looks like some kind of really archaic, like key fob reader. Not biometrics, not scanners. It looks very old fashioned. Go ahead, yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Like, I know it's retro. I will literally try to hack it.
Yes.
But if she fails, then I
No,
shoot.
yeah, then totally shoot it. Is that tech or data?
That would
Tech?
be a tech. Yep, a retro tech.
That's much better. 20, dirty.
Okay. So it takes you a little bit because this is even more than retro. This is just outdated. This is like early stuff before you're even used to seeing. This is you have to physically have a device that communicates with this
Yeah,
device, and it like
Guys, it's so old.
but you're able to finally kind of figure out, okay, I can get around it by faking this device on my data pad, and you kind of like trick it into thinking that you have the fob that you need, and you figure it out, and you hear that latch kind of click, and the door.
Hey, do you guys
is open.
remember keys?
What?
Keys?
Oh.
I mean, keys are technically still a thing. They just aren't as physical.
No, wait, do you remember physical keys?
Can I roll a history check?
What's a physical key?
Is you used to have like a lock used to be like just like a hole with different little tumblers in it, and then you had a piece of metal that was shaped specifically to go into the hole.
Yeah, there's still people that still use
Elias
them.
is looking at you like you're just crazy.
Uh-huh.
Hades, as you say that, you recall that when you were at the moon base, those doors had physical keyholes and keys that were used.
But no, people still do that. I mean, even advanced civilizations. I mean, you can't rob a bank if you can't hack it. Takes longer.
I mean, yeah, but not often. Biometrics are usually just like safer and just better.
At this
My
point,
dad had a safe though, and everyone looked at him like it was stupid.
We still talking about the game?
Yeah.
But you're
Quinn
saying
and Beats are probably like 100 yards away walking.
Yeah. Hey, we can walk and talk.
Yeah,
So
I am
those guys
assuming
come
that
out or
all this
what?
conversation is happening while we're
That's
walking.
what
Yeah.
Until we get there.
at this point, Hades, you hear from inside the room.
I get my
God.
pistol ready
Excuse
and
me.
I have my shield on. I was like,
Did we all hear that or just him?
Just Hades, because he's standing right there at the door ready to open it. You
I
hear
was like,
that.
guys, weapons
I'm
hot.
standing
weapons
at
hot.
the door unlocking it.
What?
You're talking about your safe.
My thermal picking anything up?
The door isn't open yet. Hades just
Okay.
heard that from inside the room.
Yeah, and I said,
Mm.
weapons hot, guys.
My mind, Adriani's like turn around talking, and the door opens, and this thing is behind us. She's like, but the keys, like you can't rob a bank.
So, dumb question. Quinn, do you have any grenades?
Yes.
Isn't
Don't you?
like a.
Of course, he's got.
But
grenades.
I'm saying, isn't that one of the things that you learned? You know, like breach and clear, throw a grenade in.
Okay.
I'm still looking at the tab. I haven't pulled my weapon out.
Grenade
Just like
first, questions later.
Hades,
Is
you're
the door
standing
open?
at the door, and the door is unlocked, but it's not opened. Oops, I just smacked my microphone. Sorry about that.
No, I'm like,
Put
Guys.
Mentos in here.
well,
Wait
I
for
don't
it.
want to blow up. How big is the building? Like, because I don't want to throw a grenade and then we wreck all the.
Also,
stuff.
what if
Like,
there's other grenades in there? That could be real bad.
That's why
Yeah.
you throw the
Or
grenade
real
in.
good.
Don't
This
worry, guys.
building, Hades, is about 3 times larger than the substation. It's probably about 30 yards by 30 yards.
Okay.
Don't worry, guys. I got this. Open the door.
Pull out my dagger.
I'm willing to open the door. I just, like, but yeah.
You open
I mean,
the door, and
I'll
the beat starts playing. I saw a sign.
So Hades, what are you doing? You're standing at the door. Quinn's got a grenade ready.
I
Grenades out.
give
Beats-
everyone a warning. I tell everyone weapons hot, and then I open the door.
Okay. So you swing the door open, and Pete, you get the thermal
Yeah.
vision of a bipedal creature kind of disappearing behind the front hallway into another like room in this 30 by 30.
So it's moving away. Okay, guys. Yeah, bipedal again, moving away.
How big
That's
is
good,
it?
isn't it?
Yeah. Did I get a better height on?
Yes,
on
it
this time?
almost looks it went from its 4 legs to bipedal, so it like it was just sitting in a position, stood up on its legs and walked, and it's about the same height as Adriadne, but it's like it's pretty large. It's
broader.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is it just a
I'm-
long hallway?
Is anybody looking into the room? Okay, so Hades would have gotten a very brief glimpse of the figure, and you see what looks like a furry creature kind of stand up and then take like 2-3 steps into this other doorway. So this like open, I'm sorry, I'm stuttering, but that's all right. I open the door. You see this hallway that goes down 30 yards, and there's 2 doors, and this one goes into the far door from the hallway. So it's like standing at the edge of the hallway. You see this busted out like hole in the back wall where it must have come in from the back, and it was just standing there, and it disappears, and it's very furry. It's almost like a dark brown fur, big thick fur coat that it's wearing, and it just kind of like goes from its like all fours, stands up on its bipedal, and then it kind of walks in this very large gate, looks 3 steps and disappears into another hallway.
Okay.
I'm sitting outside of the door with a concussion grenade, looking at Hades, waiting to know if I should throw it or not. I'm like ready. Should I?
First
I feel-
contact. First contact rule. We're not the aggressors. Unless it attacks us, we don't attack.
I try to put the pen back in. No, I'm just kidding.
You mean you pulled the pin?
He's like,
You're gonna have to hold that the whole time now. Beats is actually going to slowly enter the room and begin following the path of the creature.
Okay. So Beats is taking the lead.
I'm right behind Beats.
Hades is right behind Beats.
I'll mumble
I'm
about
on Beats.
never being able to.
You're
use
on
these
top of
things.
Beats still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Put the
Say,
grenade back. I'll go last.
Okay.
I'm not going in.
You're not going in at all.
Have you not heard of not splitting the plot?
Should I give you the grenade?
Yeah,
If
here,
you
hold
want to
this.
stay out there and wait for something to eat you because
Can't
you
miss.
Watch.
were
Watch
left
this for
behind,
me.
that's fine.
I'm just thinking like we want to make sure like nothing comes up from behind us. But if we're all going in,
I was just saying, if we leave one person out there, then something could pick you off, and we might not even know it happened.
okay,
until
I am
later.
not going to stay outside. I'm going to stay right in front of Quinn.
There you go.
I was like, yeah, I'll stay outside. Nothing can bother me out here. I'll see it coming. No, probably not. Just fall down from the ceiling and just.
Have you not seen any horror movie ever?
I was gonna say Predator. Just sitting there. Just...
Okay, so Elias is staying outside.
What's
No,
this
no, no,
red,
no,
what's
if
this
you-
red
I changed my mind.
triangle?
Okay. So Hades, you're in the lead. Beats is in the lead, then Hades, then Quinn, and then Adrienne is on top of Beats. She's also in the lead. And then Elias, you're in between Hades and Quinn.
He's second to last. Yep.
Okay,
Quinn's
gotcha.
last.
Okay, got the order. So, as you're going in through this hallway, you see that there's a door on your right about 10 feet in, and then there's a door at the back of this hallway that the creature has kind of went into.
I want to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna tap Beats to have him stop so we can check the door and see what's in there real quick before we head on.
Yeah, I'll stop and
Okay.
pan in.
And I'll kind of press the button to open the door.
Yeah, and it slides upwards, and inside this are a whole bunch of lockers that line the walls and some like little benches. This looks like probably like a prep room.
Like a locker room,
Mhm.
changing room. Okay. Any movement?
You don't see anything.
It's like all clear, and then close it back, and then tap him to go forward.
Yeah, I'll continue down the hall then.
So, Beats, you continue down the hallway and you get to the corner where the door is at, and there's not actually a door there. It seems like the door has like been dismantled or taken apart or is missing in some form. It doesn't look like the frame has been damaged, but the door is gone. So you can kind of peek around, and you see that the room continues on, and then it kind of fills in back behind, and you don't see the creature.
Still clear, guys.
You're
So I'm
still
gonna-
using your thermal vision, right?
Yeah.
All right. We walk in.
Okay. So as you turn the corner, you see that this room continues on, and it seems to be like it's got these very old-fashioned. In fact, it's very hard to recognize what they are. It takes you a second to process what these are, but they're old CCTV cameras. they're all powered down and you can't see anything, but it looks like this is like a hub for security forces. And in the back wall, there's another door. It looks like it's an old-fashioned wooden door, and it's kind of got a glass panel in the center that's been busted out, and it's sitting ajar, and you can just kind of barely make out the shoulder of this creature kind of hovering, or kind of.
So I can see it.
You can see the thermal.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. How far away from it is it from me?
You'd probably be about 10 yards from this thing. 'Cause
10 yards.
This room kind of continues on for 20
Okay,
yards.
so that's still
Yeah.
so it's still enough. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to cast Sapping Sting. It's a at will cantrip.
Okay.
And it has to make a con save, and my save is 14. And all it does is, if he fails the con save, he becomes knocked prone.
And he
he's
takes a
just,
D4.
he's gonna take just a little bit of damage.
That is an 11.
So yeah, and he's gonna take just gonna take 2 necrotic damage, but he's gonna be knocked prone because I just want to knock him down so we can kind of get a better look at what it is without really hurting it.
Yeah, you hear a yelp, and you see the thermal of the shoulder kind of disappear behind the door, and you can assume that it's probably down.
So he's down. Let's move, and I'm gonna just move in as quick as I can.
I literally said don't attack it first, but all right.
Yeah.
You did say everybody was going to forget their training and just...
I literally said it. I was like,
That was the first thing you said.
guys, protocol, first contact protocol. It's in the manual. It's like,
So you're charging. Is anybody else following him in?
I'm behind him. It's
Okay.
already started, so I'm right behind him.
Yeah,
Hey, I
Got
didn't blow this thing away. I just tasered.
So you all bust into the room. The door kind of slams open, and in the far corner of this room, there's this creature that it almost looks kind of like a humanoid ape-like creature. The face is very wolf-like. It's got a snout and a nose, but it's very brown matted hair, and it looks very King Kong in body build, and it's got these large ape-like feet with extra toes. There's 2 extra toes in it, and it's just kind of up against the corner, kind of whimpering this pathetic, like, dog sound. And it looks absolutely terrified. You can see this look of terror in its eyes.
So I will kind of look at it. I'll put my ion cannon away, and I'll try and speak with him. Like, hey, we're sorry you kept moving away from us, sir. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're not gonna hurt you anymore.
Kind of.
And should I give like a persuasion check or anything?
Does it understand us?
Oh yeah, I say, does he?
So it kind of cocks its head a little bit, and you see the look in its eyes like it's trying to understand you, but it looks absolutely terrified, and it's just making these whimpering noises, and it's trying to get, like, it's actively pushing itself against the wall, like it's trying to get away from
Let's see,
you should just let him go. He's scared.
I'm gonna go back in the CCTV room.
I'm just watching the door glaive out.
Does anybody got any food? Anybody got anything on them?
Oh, I always have food. I open up my fanny pack.
So I'll take whatever she hands me, and I will kind of put it out towards me and put it on the floor, and I'll step away. I'll step back.
Space Cheetos?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Cheetos?
definitely Cheetos.
I just Beats wants to see like how intelligent this thing is, how it
The twisting.
interacts.
Okay. So as Hades leave, or not Hades, I'm sorry, Quinn and Elias leave the room, you're kind of standing at the door and watching the door, right,
Mhm.
Quinn?
Yeah.
Hades and
And yeah.
Adriadne are still in the room. You set the food down
I
and
drop my gun into
Kinda-
my holster.
okay, you've disarmed yourself at this point.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I got my shield.
And you set the food down in front of it. It hesitantly kind of like see it eye the food and then like look at you, and then it like juts out real fast, grabs the food and pulls it in, and you see it kind of, and it's just crunching
And
down.
I'll say, there you go. That's good, isn't it? It's good. And I'm going to cast Healing Word on him
Aw.
at first level. So he's gonna gain back that 2 that I hurt him first, and he'll gain 6. So he should be feeling okay.
Okay, you do see there are some open wounds across like his shoulder blade that start to kind of heal up. And as it turns around and starts like eating in the corner, you see there's these claw marks that match up almost perfectly with the size of the claw marks on the metal door, and they are deep in this thing's back. You can almost kind of see bone from the rib cage and bone from the spine as the wounds begin to kind of close themselves up.
Wow.
The fur doesn't cover over it, so you now see these 4 massive scars across the skin. Back.
Okay.
Get the Cheetos. Face Cheetos.
Well, I'm gonna like motion to Adriane for like a little bit more, and if she hands me anything else, I'll just set it down. Then I'll go back into the room with everyone else and see if what it does, if it follows us back in or if it runs off.
I look at flaming hot Cheetos.
Kind of
put
give
them
it
back.
that choice.
No, not those. Not those.
Cheez-Its. Yeah, that'll do.
Now with extra cheese. But yeah, I will go back with them to see if I can access the CTV recordings and see if I can find dating back 100 years what happened.
Okay.
Like since I know that the rust has only been 100 years, I'll probably do like 120 or so years.
Okay, so you're gonna go back into that room and try to start operating the consoles.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug in and try to give it power while they're operating it.
Okay. So
Not doing anything with it, but I'm just giving it power.
you go through, and it takes you a little bit to find a jack that works for your tool. This stuff is really
Ancient.
really outdated. In fact, you don't find an actual jack. What you end up doing is Wi-Fi connecting to it and producing the power wirelessly. But the consoles, the tubes flicker on, and the console illuminates, and there's this low electronic hum.
Thank you, Elias. And do I need to make a data?
On this one, it probably would be a data.
Hey, I got a 17.
Okay. So you're able to kind of go through, and it takes you a little bit to figure out this is not a digital system at all. So there's no way to manipulate the CCTV. You have to go through, and you find there are these like weird looking rectangles that have film inside them.
This place is weird.
Hit the top of one of the center consoles and it pops up. There's this rectangle, and you can insert these weird plastic looking rectangles into this rectangle, and you set it down, and you find there's a mechanical button. You push it, and some of the TVs click on.
Their tracking button. Or a tracking knob.
Hey, Joe, is this? So this is. Does this seem to fit? Like, we have hover cars, but we have VCRs. Like, does this
What
seem
if-
to fit? Like,
if these-
technology-wise, does this
if
mirror
these-
what's outside, or does it seem archaic, or does it just?
The consoles and the tech that you're interfacing with seems really outdated for the hover cars and the buildings Like they don't match up.
Okay.
Like if they have the technology for hover cars that have crashed into the side that you've seen, and they have the technology for putting this planet together with domes and all that kind of stuff, the almost 80s technology vibe that you're getting from this seems out of place.
Okay.
But
I'm just gonna say this is really strange.
No, I agree. I agree.
Hades, as you're going through and doing the search through the thing, you finally come up. You have to go through several of these rectangles to find the right one, and you pop it in and you play through, and it's static.
There is a tracking knob.
Through 90% of it. And at the end, you see this camera angle on the CCTV kind of pan upwards towards the sky. And in the sky, there is a massive ship just kind of floating over the city. And you see this ship shoot this green ball of plasma down towards the city. And it goes back to static again.
Can I rewind it to take a picture of the ship?
Yeah, absolutely. You physically.
Okay. Like, Elias, have you seen that type of model ship before?
And I do no nothing.
I would give you a history if it was possible, but there's no way recognized.
Okay.
this-
So
Oh, wow.
I'll ask a question instead. Does the structure seem familiar to any of the other races that I've seen? Just being for the fact that I've traveled from like across the galaxy to get to the
Yeah.
to Terra.
Yeah, and you would have
So-
you would be able to recognize basic like architectural or not engineering designs of spacecraft for the various different races that you've come into contact with, and this looks unlike anything you've seen. It almost looks more organic than mechanical.
And the closest race I know that uses organic is the elves with their wood ships, but it's not even close to that, right?
No. The thing
Okay.
that you're seeing is it's almost like in the shape of a
Like-
violin, but it's an organic. It almost looks
Like
more like
flesh?
an animal. Yeah, more like an animal, and it's got these like tentacle things that are coming off of it and whipping around. It kind of looks like maybe a little bit squid-like in the front end of it, in the shape of a violin, and then the front neck of it you can almost see what looks like an eye, but you're
So it looks
assuming-
more like a creature than a ship.
it's definitely a ship because they have like certain mechanical and cybernetic, like you can see lights and things flashing on it, so it's definitely a ship, but it looks like an animal
At the same time.
at the same time.
Okay.
What are you guys finding in there?
I was
Something
right.
scary.
Something attacked the planet. It wasn't hit by asteroids.
I'm gonna point out the eye. Be like, do you see? Is that?
Yeah, I see it.
That's not right.
How long ago was it? Was it here like yesterday?
Like, obviously, if it's CTD, it should have the date, like the star date, right?
It's
Or
not.
the-
It's actually not a star date, and it doesn't look like a star date. It actually has a date on it, but it's not familiar. It says like it's 235, 17, 1572. Like there's spaces in between of it, so it doesn't match up with like the universal star dates.
Right.
The data pad that I found.
Mhm.
Does the date that I found match? Does like the dating system match this?
Yes.
Not the same day, but the system matches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this is the only video that I can find of what happened that day.
Right. That's the only. Everything else is prior to that and looks very mundane. It looks like this is
Can I tell
probably a pretty. It
Can I
wasn't.
tell what type of race lived here? Like, was it what humanoid race or was it?
It was a humanoid race, but there were a lot of also what looked like probably immigrant races that were involved in the city.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of coming and going. As you're kind of scrolling through, you could see that there was a lot of import and export merchants and stuff like that involved in the city. So as it was primarily humanoid, there were some insectoid races. There were some there was like a little race that's about Adriani's size that looked like little frogs. They were pretty prominent in the comings and goings. It looked like they were probably merchants in the city. There were some Aviara.
They were Aviara.
There were a couple. It's not like a prominent race in the city, but there were a couple that came and went.
Can I tell what the primary race was?
These humanoids.
These humanoids? Okay. Okay. But yeah, I want to make sure I take a picture of that as clear as, whatever frame I have to get it to get the clearest picture of it.
Yeah, you're able to manipulate that to the point where you...
All right.
The ship, you mean?
Yeah, of the ship.
I'm gonna when he finds that spot, I'm gonna help. I'm gonna take a picture as well.
Okay, someone or something attacked this planet and wiped it out from the star maps. Because if Quinn is right, this planet doesn't exist, and whoever did this, either higher councils wanted it swept under the rug, or this planet somehow got shifted out of its orbit or out of its system.
I'm gonna pull the data pad out and just hand it to Hades and point at the star date that I found on the data pad. Like this, look at that number. That is 10,000 years. Oh, 10,003 from this year. Back.
Rust is only 100
But
years.
the space
10,003. Not 1,000, not 100. 10,003.
or please, for the love of God, tell me we didn't just get shit sent back in time.
Don't know about time travel, but this is strange. Do you think if the
Okay, the damage
we went
here-
through the mall
right
and we showed up here?
through light speed, which it takes time for light to reach places. In the mall,
Maybe, well, if you said like if the planet was knocked out of wherever it was supposed to be, maybe their system is off. Time travel is sci-fi. I'm not even entertaining that idea.
I don't want to say time travel either, but it's the only thing that somewhat makes sense right now. Because none of this adds up. We're on a planet that's 10,000 years old that's been missing.
But
And
look at this, and he's
either
going to
someone-
point at the VCR thing. It's like, this doesn't match out there. That's wrong.
Hey guys, how's it going? Do you have any weird tech questions?
Yeah.
Also, the monkey is so cute and sweet, and it loves cheesy food.
It likes cheesy food.
Homie,
What?
Yeah.
everything in the
You have
universe is
cheesy food?
Yeah,
And
obviously.
you don't share?
You didn't ask.
You didn't offer.
He's not
Well,
wrong.
do you want some
Communicate-
flaming hot Cheetos? Here.
Too late now. It's hurt.
I'm sorry.
All right, Adriani, you like old tech stuff, right?
Yeah.
All right. He's just gonna like motion toward the VCR
The
system.
fuck?
Does this match with hover cars?
No.
Are we
Um,
talking same century? Are we talking hundreds of years? Thousands of years?
God.
Yeah.
Are you a cleric now? Or are you praying?
I'm a soul sorcerer. I changed my class.
Every time I ask the DM a question, I just say God. Yeah. What?
It's hard for this to be answered succinctly because different species and races advance in different directions and different times and everything.
Mhm.
As far as you know, this tech with the consoles and stuff doesn't match with hover cars, but you would know that different societies will advance different areas of their tech in different ways
Hmm.
unless they're integrated into the Galactic Federation. Technology is shared.
Well, they had
Also,
to have, because we saw Avia Ra there.
also,
It could have been an interplanet planet.
yeah, like the Aviara could have like just like showed up, like
Not every
just been
planet.
tourists.
Not every planet has to be part of the Galactic Alliance.
Also, is there any like it's old, but is there any advantage that there would be to having videotapes instead of
The same advantage that you have having videotapes rather than digital. If EMPs or your digital, there's no power, you still have an analog version that if you can find
Right.
something to play, that would be about the only advantage, is a physical copy. Same
Mhm.
thing with video games store, and you buy a physical copy or you download it from Steam. If you lose access to your Steam, you lose your access to your library.
We'd have access to this, whereas opposed to with a data pad, we might not be able to pull all the information.
Right.
Right. Yeah, I say that. Well, these things basically, they're usually a little less sturdy than our current technology, but they're more manipulatable and you can like do stuff with them. They're easier to build onto and build off of, and you can't, she picks up a tape, you can't like, just delete this with a button.
Fair enough.
So
Still
maybe,
suspicious.
Can I?
yeah,
I believe you. Still suspicious.
Here's
but
another
it might just be either their technology didn't evolve in visual media the same way it did in transportation, or they might just have it because they didn't want something like to just be able to wipe out all their info.
Fair. Question. We've not seen a dead body yet, even a decayed skeleton, right? It's only
Other than this critter, you have not crossed any. Which, by the way,
yeah, I was waiting to see. That's
as you're watching it eat, it's kind of starting to kind of lose its aggressive and defensive demeanor, kind of let itself kind of sniff around, and it looks, as you're kind of assessing it, it does look like it's intelligent to a point, but it still looks more animal than intelligent.
still feral.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks more animalistic than it does civilized, advanced.
I left him banana chips and dried apple pieces
Which he has
before I left.
devoured in an.
Yeah.
You have any questions or like to do with?
Is it
Put it in the
still
box?
no? Yeah. Does it still seem to be cowering in the corner, or is it trying to kind of move away from us, or is it just kind of?
It's staying in the corner because you're kind of standing there, keeping it from, like, there's only one way in and out of this room.
There's only one way. Okay.
So it's kind of staying in the corner, but it's not hunched and terrified. It's just kind of staying in the corner.
Okay. I think I would probably just kind of stay near it. Maybe I would play like some soft, like lullaby music or something. Just
Okay. If you do that, and you'll notice about 2-3 minutes into the song, it's gonna start to kind of do that curl around thing, and it's gonna lay down, and it's keeping its face towards you so it can keep an eye on you, but it is just kind of getting comfortable.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really want to mess with him much anymore. I'll just play a little bit of music and let these guys finish up, and we can get out of its way and let it go on about its business. So
There's no articles of like clothing or anything, right? No ID badges that are just laying around. No.
You haven't found anything like that yet?
There's still the locker room, though.
Yeah.
And also on the
Yeah.
video, we saw that happened like 10,000 years ago, right?
No, that was 100
Supposedly.
years.
100.
Oh, the
Yeah, the video was dated 100 years ago.
but the
and
date.
The date on it is like 10,000 years.
Because it doesn't match. It doesn't. We've found that the dates don't match our star charts.
But the
Okay.
data pad had both.
Yes.
It had a
Okay.
star date and it had an old style date.
Okay.
Also, when they come back in, I'm assuming we're gonna brief them all about what's going on.
Yeah. I will. After we brief them, like, is there any other exits out of this plate, or we got to go back to the door?
Yep, the main door is
and
in
then go
and
back
out of the
down
screen.
that hallway.
Yep.
I want to
In the
put
main
all
door.
the tapes and a VCR into that box.
And a VCR.
We needed to play the tape.
And the Christmas Story, the copy of the Christmas Story that's on tape.
Yeah,
'Cause
literally
watching it
any
all day on
videotapes
TNT
they
isn't good
have.
enough, Yeah, like
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Okay.
Do you want to check the locker room? On our
Yeah,
way
that's
out?
what I was heading to.
Are we leaving the room?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I don't think there's anything else we can find out from here because we've
I
gone
haven't
through all
seen
the tapes.
anything. I haven't seen anything in the hallways since I've been out there.
No movement, nothing suspicious.
Okay.
Now, open that locker room again.
Okay. So there's 2 of the walls are filled with lockers, and then there's benches in between. And on the other side, there seems to be this caged off area, and you can see through the caged bars. And there seems to be these really old style weapons. They seem to be made out of metal, and not scientific in any way, shape, or form. They're you would recognize, as having a history course in armaments and weaponry, you would recognize these as a step above flintlock pistols, like flintlock repeaters, and they have magazines that you load in archaic bullets. They're physical weapons. They're
Like
not
actual ballistic rifles and
Yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these are great. They make explosions to fire stuff. It's really dangerous.
Yeah.
And unreliable.
But I mean, also,
Elias just
once
has like a
again,
disgusted look on his face, like
like
come
a lot
on.
of old stuff, easy to fix.
Can I get
Usually
behind
it's
the
just
bar?
a part you have to move around or
Yeah,
something.
the padlock that's hanging on there isn't even. It looks like it's just been like pulled open and unlocked, and the door's unlocked.
All right. And as a souvenir, I'll just find like a revolver.
Okay. Yeah, there's like a Colt 45.
Yeah.
I would like a shotgun as big as I am, please.
You don't find one
I-
quite that big, but you do find a shotgun.
It's on the top shelf, and I just hand it to her.
And a
Yes.
toothpick
I'm gonna
that you-
quickly, while they're going through the guns, quickly go through the lockers, just like pop anything useful, anything, and just one at a time, just pop, 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 pop.
Several of them have regular clothing, made of materials native to the place that have been processed, kind of almost like a steampunky, where it's like threaded material made from like pulpy tree vines and stuff. It's not advanced in polyesters. That
Does this fit the CCTV thing, or does this fit the?
it's more the CCTV thing than it does the hover. But then you open one up and you find this really, it's like a uniform, like a jumpsuit, and it has like a pull cord on the shoulder and several like attachments, and there is a name tag on there that says Stevens. And it's like a very, it's like a off black. It's almost got some like brown tan color, but it's like a real dark color.
I'm gonna take it. Is it like heavy?
It feels like it almost feels like it's made of metal, like almost heavier than it looks.
Quinn, do you know what this is?
Take a quick look. Can I tell at a glance?
At a glance, it looks like a pilot's jumpsuit.
It looks like something a pilot would wear, but I don't.
Yeah, it definitely looks very old. To describe it in terms where you can visualize it in your head, it's like a pilot's G suit now.
Hmm.
You know, those one piece G suit basically, but it looks like it's made out of some kind of metal.
Yeah, it's old. It's junk probably.
Okay.
I'm gonna check this room. So as everyone's kind of running around, any sign of looting or forced entry or anything? Have we seen, like in the substation, there was a giant hole on the other side. Have we seen any sort of like clear damage that this was targeted or like?
We saw the hole in the back of the building, right?
But that was where the creature
Right.
ran in and out.
Yeah, it wasn't like a collapsed part of the building. It was a hole in the wall, almost like it had been dug through.
Mm.
The metal kind of was imploded inwards and bent to form this hole.
Right.
There was no damage to the roof that you could see from inside the building. Some of the lockers do look like some of the bolts had been cut. Like there's bolts sitting down or padlocks sitting down on the floor in front of them. But they've all been closed again because when you came in, they were all closed, so there was nothing visibly open. But as you're kind of perusing through, you do open up one of the lockers, Quinn, and inside the lockers, a skeleton kind of falls
Oh, dude!
out onto the floor like it was hiding in there.
Well,
Oh, okay.
found our first visitor.
I do a quick
What?
scan.
I'm honestly a little relieved.
Yeah, me too. Because I was like, I'm finding it weird. There's not a single dead body or skeleton
After getting
anywhere, like anywhere. And I was like,
after getting spooked, I'll comment that we just found the hide and seek champion of 1572.
basically, yeah. But I'll scan the skeleton remains to
Okay.
see what species it was.
And you're using your scanner, right? Your
Scanner,
full-on
yeah, not
scan
my
tool.
homing tool.
Right, so you scan through that, and it comes up as the humanoids that you saw on tape, which are labeled extinct.
Well, this would justify that.
Was the
Yeah.
locker locked?
No, I just
No, because
I just opened
yeah, they've been opening them.
Then why did he stay in there and die?
Well, unfortunately, there's, and I'll point down to the locks that are on the ground. This may have been popped sometime. We're not the first ones to come here.
And also, I'm assuming you mentioned about the creature's wounds.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever attacked that creature could have been inside here, and he
Why
probably
didn't anyone,
just got scared and didn't want to come out.
why didn't anyone
How
grab
would
the
he?
guns?
But how would he lock up? A, how would he lock a padlock from the outside? And B, you would eventually be able to tell whether the creature left or not. And
Well, it
like
wasn't
I
locked.
imagine,
Well, it wasn't locked when we got
It wasn't
there,
locked.
but
Wait,
there could have
were
been.
the
one.
padlocks like cut? Or were they like ripped off? Or were they just like disintegrated with time? Like,
So some of the lockers had padlocks that were like torn off down below on the floor. The other lockers didn't have padlocks. The one that you opened with the skeleton did not have a padlock at the floor of it.
so they were
Oh.
like broken and fallen,
Right.
So someone
not
moved
like
this way.
cut, not like bolt cutter cut. It
No,
was
there-
like
it
cut
was-
as in like destroyed.
Yeah, there was definitely force pulling it,
Okay.
breaking it.
Okay.
either way, even if it did have a padlock, someone locked him in from the outside, or he just stayed in there, or he was dead already. Someone put him in there.
Can I tell how he died from the scan?
The scan doesn't have any indications of cause of death because it's just a skeleton.
Right.
Bullet holes, anything?
There doesn't seem to be any
Fractures?
Fractures? Yeah.
I wish we had a
Okay.
medic.
I mean, he could have been shot by one of those things and just climbed in there.
Wish we had someone that had proficiency in medicine.
Mm.
Well, I mean, like,
Can I take
with
a
that
look
kind
at
of
the skeleton? I forgot that I'm proficient in that. I'm sorry.
Wish we had someone that was helping tens of people.
You said medicine, and I was like, oh yeah.
That would be so helpful right now.
I'm level 1. We just say these
Yeah.
characters.
If I attack the skeleton and kill it, do we get experience for defending the skeleton?
Go ahead and
Can I
make your
do some-
medicine roll.
Yikes.
Can I cast a magic missile into the darkness?
All right, that's a
Are there
16.
girls there?
Okay.
I'm looking for damage the skeleton in any spot, looking for something that could like same thing like what they're saying with the creature, like it had damage to its bones because of being slashed. Maybe,
Even
like,
if it was just
being-
force, it could cause little cracks.
Yeah, or like if it was shot by one of those really strange looking guns and
Or
like,
or if his
chipped.
bones look like crappy because he starved to death.
there you go. Yeah. She knows what she's talking about. That's what
I
I'm
watch a
looking
lot
for.
of true crime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds like I'm gonna have to watch a couple episodes going forward.
I personally like the idea that Ilias is just looking at the skeleton. She's like, "What about this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." It's like he's like, "Oh yeah."
You have the medical license.
So yeah, Adrienne guides you through what to check for on the skeleton, and through her guidance, you do find some very fine, minute scratch marks on the spinal cord. They're you would have missed them, but you rolled high enough that you that you caught them with Adrienne's help, and they kind of line up spacing wise with the other claw marks that you've seen on the door and on the creature.
So it's possible
Uh-huh.
this person
Okay.
was wounded. Is there any discoloration
So
on the inside of the locker?
You do find some dried up blood and like a
He bled.
what
He
of it?
bled to death.
Yeah.
So they were wounded. They climbed in. Something happened in the future where this happened, and then they just died from. The
He
wound.
might have just passed out and then
Yeah. He must have-
died.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's no lock on the floor near this locker.
Correct.
Okay, so no one locked him in here. He was just. He got in to hide, probably.
Mhm.
I do my best Columbo impression. Like, now, yeah. I'm just kidding.
And the weapons
Well-
here don't look picked through or anything.
Nope, none of them seem to be missing.
Okay.
I
Well,
just
The door was unlocked and open. So when he opened the door, there was no resistance to it. But
I wonder
all
if-
the weapons seem to be in their places, except for the ones that you just took.
He ran in here to come get a weapon, and then the thing was chasing him, and he was injured, and so then he hid in the locker and then passed out or whatever and died.
With that in mind, can we look around the room to see if there's any markings, like claw markings on the ground, on the floor, on the door?
Any more blood?
Any more blood?
There doesn't seem to be any obvious signs of blood on the walls or anything like that.
Think
Can
a
I
struggle
take out-
happened here? or
Can I
anything?
take out my luminol and power up a black light, see if there's any?
Your Omnitool have that feature on it.
You know, it'd be really helpful if it did.
Would it be useful for an engineer? Because you
Well, my-
probably have it.
anyway, is how far are we from the warehouse? The B was it B1 or
B-15 is
B-15?
B15?
yeah,
B15?
You sunk my battleship. 3 buildings to the north.
3 billion.
Mhm.
All right.
what are we?
I will feel a lot more comfortable with answering some of these questions when we have a more functioning ship.
And
What-
maybe not a big scary monster that will kill us.
Yeah, so let's
Yeah.
try to hurry up and get these parts. And if we see something interesting, we'll stop along the way. But we do need to get these crystals at least so that everyone up there can get power,
Mhm.
and the medical station can be at full.
What were you trying to say, Quinn?
I just feel like there's, I'm with you, Elias, where, you got fancy tech on the outside, you got lousy tech on the inside.
Not lousy,
Nobody's-
it's different.
No, it's a lot. It's. I'll catch myself next time. You have substantially less effective technology on the inside,
It's still here.
and you're being bombed by plasma, and you're shooting back with ballistic rifles. And
No,
now-
yeah. This
And
is
now we got.
Well, we have no evidence that they shot back. We only have.
What I'm saying
evidence-
is that the only thing they could clearly the only thing they've been shooting back with is, and now there's no one here, because if you were alone, I mean, we found the security station in 2 hours. Why wouldn't you come in the doors were open, you know? Unless we're like in the old part of town or something.
Okay, I'm glad that I'm not crazy because I feel like this is just strange.
No, it
I
is
agree.
really strange.
No, it's back. I don't like it. Like it makes
What if there's something here that the most effective way to defeat it is these weapons? Like,
Or what?
if this was what if this was a competitive advantage or something? Like maybe there's something about this place that it because like with evolution, you carry the traits that get you the farthest.
Yeah, maybe there's something that messes
So you
with
have
higher technology.
Yeah. Like
Or maybe it's a creature that's immune to it is
Radiant
resistant
damage.
to
Plasma or whatever.
so you have to use
clearly
ballistic
not plasma.
rifles.
That didn't
So I
work
mean
out
maybe
for it.
tiny explosions do more damage to it than shooting with a laser.
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab one of those guns.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a pistol.
I have one. Dang it.
I got a boomstick.
So there's several M4
Ooh.
carbine rifles in there. There's a couple shotguns. There are some 9mm 9mm ballistic handguns.
9mm.
Are there any Desert Eagles?
The only revolver that was in there has been taken.
Clint Eastwood Corvex?
Yeah, I'm
2
gonna
hand
take.
cannons, baby.
Desert Eagles are terrifying. They're huge.
No lie, that reminds me of that meme. It's like parry this, you filthy casual. I have a laser gun and a ballistic gun.
I'll take an M4 and some ammo
Yeah.
for the heck of it.
I'll take an M4.
I'll
as well.
toss one, but my
I
glaive
will
is
get
also
some. I will get some more ammo.
What kind of shotgun is it? Is it pump action? Do I have to open it up and load it?
There, on the side, you load in 7 shells,
Okay.
and then pump action.
Yeah, I'm gonna take
Because
whatever.
there's the
Quinn's
ones that open
taking.
up and you have to manually
If
load
you
them.
stick
and then
the
there's...
stock, the butt of the gun on the ground, it comes up to your neck.
Can I even operate that?
Yeah.
You could
at
try.
disadvantage.
Technically, it would be
You
considered
can
a
load
simple-
it, and you can pump it. You have enough strength to do that. So
But will it make me fall over if I shoot it?
I think if these are archaic, I would believe they count as simple range weapons, right?
I mean, yeah, but
It's like a hand crossbow. I mean,
as a person who's actually shot a gun, I might fall over if I shoot it.
you might go
You
flying.
chose it.
No, well, I just wanted it for pretties. I might get like a smaller, like. Oh God, are there any Derringers in here?
I feel like
really tiny pistol.
Yeah, they're the small
Really
ones.
tiny
They're
pistol.
the like hold out guns.
I
Yeah.
tell you what, roll a D100,
Noisy cricket.
and if you hit 100,
Noisy
you can find a
crickets.
Derringer.
Ah! Where's the percentile die? God dang it!
That's why I like D&D Beyond, because it tells you for you.
Found it.
D&D Beyond.
53.
Oh, nope, no Derringer.
Um,
You find 53 Derringer bullets though.
Oh, Byron.
They're tiny, tiny, tiny.
They're like little airsoft bees.
Baby.
So I'll get everybody set up. Everyone that needs one, M4, maybe two clips. Get it, toss it over. I'll
Yep.
keep
Yeah,
one slinging around
when
the
he
back.
does that, I'm gonna watch him and be like, "You need to
will
give
be
me a."
limited rounds. So you find 150 rounds for the M4s,
Okay.
Okay.
and you find 100 rounds for the 9mm, and there are 50 shotgun shells.
So 3 M4s, 150 rounds total. One
Bird shot or
9mm,
slug shot?
They're slugs.
Cool.
100 rounds, and
so they're
then
slow.
I'm gonna
God.
take
One
a pistol
shotgun.
instead of an assault rifle, so they can take more
50
ammo.
rounds. You can. I'm not gonna take a rifle, so you can just have it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna use magic because
Okay.
I'm a cleric. I forgot that.
Well,
I'm like, I don't need a
so-
sidearm. I can shoot lasers and.
I absolutely
Might be
love
good.
how we're playing a sci-fi game,
And
and
we're-
you're all
we're
grabbing
loading
I
ballistic
wanted
weapons from the
something
past.
for the show. I'm not
He
getting
made
into
like-
extra.
look. He made a really good point.
He did.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I bought
Just
it.
like if I was to land, yeah.
It's cool old stuff. I would
DM
just
like
want to have
those.
old stuff.
We don't see his hands. He could be writing that down his notes. Like, ooh, good idea.
I mean, but it makes sense because if you're gonna go after somebody who's like can create weapons that are more like can destroy you, it's like in Halo, you get a Mac cannon. Those things can punch holes through things. You destroy those first. You don't go for the little ones.
All right.
I get
So
once
geared
we're
up.
all loaded up again. I guess we'll start heading towards the warehouse.
Okay. So as you come out of the security building, Beats, you pick up 2 thermal movements. They seem to be much bigger, also bipedal, and they're running from the room from B15 towards the facility at the north, the big massive power plant.
All right, team, we got movement coming out B15.
All right.
Moving fast, bipedal.
Is it more muppies?
Does the signature
No.
look different?
No, they're completely different.
No.
Oh,
How far away are they?
From this building to that building, so they start out about 40 yards away, and they are booking it at a pretty good pace, faster than you think you can move. And at this point, they get to be 400 yards away, or disappearing.
Okay.
So
into
they're
the-
running away. They're not running towards us.
Right, they're running from building B15 towards the big giant power plant at the north.
All right. So we're gonna skip the power plant and we're gonna go to B15 because we need to secure the crystals.
yeah, we
The
should.
mission comes first. We secure the crystals, and we'll pique our curiosity later.
I don't think we should even go to the big one.
Yeah, not like again. Yeah, I'm just saying like we just need to like B15 and that's it, and get back on our ship.
Let's focus for once in our lives.
What are these? Do we know? Do I recall what these? I think they're dilithium. Is that what they're called? The
Dilithium crystals, yep.
Dilithium crystals. What are they used for?
They
Again.
contain magic charge,
Mm-hmm.
so they can be used to power the void crystals that power the ship.
As we're walking around towards B15, since we're out in the open, I'll have my concussion rifle out.
I got my.
I'm gonna be looking. And for the record, just so concussion rifle is a long range weapon, so it can shoot like almost 500 feet. So I'm gonna be keeping an eye out on the horizon. But I am going to be looking for things that are, in the ruins that could possibly be powered by dilithium crystals.
Okay.
What even? And I'm not that creative. Like Quinn's not a creative person, so he wouldn't he's not wildly wise or intelligent, but he's not not. But just is it the cars? Is it what? Because these are super intense types of crystals. So what is it that could potentially be around here, or is it the power plant?
Yeah. Quinn's assessment is that the only technology that you see that could possibly use these crystals are the hover cars that are crashed and broken, or the power plant itself.
I might would we pass a hover car on its way?
Yeah, there's
It's on the
several
way.
of them just kind of off and broken down.
I might just check and see, is there any way that we could pop the hood or something and just see is there an engine compartment that would even remotely look like the type of technology that would pull from a dilithium crystal?
Okay, yeah. As you're approaching one of these vehicles, they kind of look somewhat familiar to Elias. These are very old, ancient hover car designs from your planet.
Oh,
They're really outdated. These are early technology.
bless you.
Bless you.
Okay, so it just looks like some I would see at an antique show.
Like a Ford Model T to us.
Yeah,
It's
like an
one of
antique
the
show or
first
something.
vehicle hover cars that you. that you're familiar with. You know that the back is where the engine compartment is.
Okay.
So you let Quinn know that, and Quinn pops the hood in the back, and you see a compartment that is almost like a steam engine, but there's a source compartment that powers the engine, and it seems like it's like a hexagonal slot. There is nothing inside of this, but you can assume that there's something that slots into that kind of generates the power.
So, just my thought, like if we wanted to charge this one, we would have to have a dilithium crystal, plug it in, and it would sit there. And then if you needed to pull it out, you'd pull it out, and it would depower the vehicle.
If the dilithium crystal had a power in it, yes,
Yeah.
had a charge.
But this one doesn't have a crystal period in it.
Right, there is no crystal in it.
Now, where did it go?
Someone's picked clean the dilithium crystals out of
Yeah, who
cover
took
cars.
the crystals?
Or they go
Well,
bad.
you've only checked one car.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just
Let's
any
check
of them
another
that
car.
as we're going, just
I think
gonna
on the way. Yeah. And I'll
Okay.
and I as they're investigating the cars, I'm just gonna be, keeping us moving towards B-15
Yeah,
and keep an eye on the
same.
horizon. I'm not gonna check any other cars.
same. A hand cannon ready, shield up, and just while they're checking, just making sure no one's attacking us.
Okay. So as you guys are keeping an eye, and you guys check the other vehicle on the way, because there's only one other vehicle between you and B-15, you pop that back hood, and there is, in fact, a dilithium crystal inserted in that slot. However, it is a completely translucent and clear crystal. There is no magical charge in it.
Can I put
gonna-
some in?
Them too.
I want to do it.
Okay. What are you casting?
Um,
Mage hand. It's the
Yeah,
one
with
spell
these
she's got.
blades.
I'm mad at Mage Hand now because I didn't think about it earlier.
I'm sorry.
That's clearly its fault. Let's see.
That's a good coffee.
Burning hands.
Bernie, no. I would actually like to cast. I will cast. Actually, I'll technomancy at it.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
So you're casting technomancy, right? You just
Mhm.
as you start to kind of cast that, and the light kind of begins to emit from your palm, you see that light kind of string out and get sucked into this crystal, and the crystal begins to glow this like light pink glow, and you see that there's a little bit of a charge in there, and the tail light on the back end of the car starts to kind of flicker, tick 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 tick, like a turn signal.
Okay, I'm gonna shut off the turn signal.
Respect to the person who was using their turn signal.
Yeah,
during
very good, very good.
Apocalyptic event. Mad respect.
Plasma bomb. Tick, 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 tick,
See,
tick, tick.
even in the apocalypse, they know how to drive. It's not that hard, guys.
Okay, then I want to try casting something else into it. How's about a
'Cause you can-
first level spell?
Okay.
Can I
Unless
help her
somebody
with
else
like a
wants to.
thaumaturgy?
Yeah.
Or is my magic, since my magic is like light, god based, it wouldn't affect crystals like this.
Magic
Yeah,
is
only-
magic. Try it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to use thaumaturgy and try to like just pour the energy into it, like I'm trying to turn it on.
Yeah, the same thing. When you begin to cast, you see that stringy light go into the crystal, and it glows a little bit, and you hear this hum. Like it's trying to start.
Okay. I would like to, if I may have fun with descriptions, I'm going to cast Arcane Anomaly in it, both? Whatever. And I just kind of like, these little cracks sort of like open up around me, and then it looks like tiny little nano machines are coming out of them, and then kind of working on the crystal and depositing little magical energies in there. It's a first level spell, so
Yeah. So at that point, the crystal, you see the light kind of grow, and it becomes this bright pink, and the car lifts up and just like takes off and spins around and crashes into the building across the street and to the left, and just and you see this explosion of like it's almost like a little mini nuclear explosion come out of the back trunk of pink, like it's like a pink mushroom cloud. Just
Well,
Hey, was there a body in the seat?
there was a skeletal.
Yeah.
There is now a skeletal.
Can I go see if it's still intact, the crystal? I have a feeling probably not, but
Yeah, so you walk over there and you open it up, and the crystal is cracked.
is
hey
this
guys, I
pink?
busted this one.
No,
Is
it's
it
not. It's not pink at all.
This
It's
white? Okay.
crystal clear.
Well, if they didn't know we were here, they know we're here now.
Even I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm looking around. I'm just now like.
So B15.
Yep. So everybody gets to the warehouse B15, and this is a pretty large. It's one of the larger buildings in the complex, aside from the one that's far north, the power plant. This warehouse is almost like an airplane hangar. It's got two large doors that slide open, and they are currently about 10 feet split apart. So you can see into warehouse B15. And it is 11:23, so this is a perfect spot to end this session
Table
of Sunrunners.
Perfect for you.
So thank you for joining us for episode 4 of Sunrunners, our Dark Matter charity stream. Make sure you tune in, not next week, because next week is a holiday weekend, so we're going to take a break for next week.
Oh, damn.
No.
I tell you what, if I am in town and everybody else is cool, we might be able to play, but I don't know.
It's
for
my
sure.
anniversary, so I'm gonna
I
be
see
out.
there.
Ah, you got 100 more of those.
Sorry, the internet at my house is not gonna
It's
play
our fifth.
ball.
It's our 5th episode anniversary.
So join us not next week, but the following week for episode 5, where we're going to explore Warehouse B15 and try to find these dilithium crystals so we can power up the RSV Banneker and get back into space. I had a great time. Thank you. I didn't realize it was 11:30 already, but this is the perfect time to stop. So don't go until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I would
No.
be okay with that, but I don't think everyone else would be.
I mean, I'd be okay with it. I just wouldn't be able to like function tomorrow.
Right? Yeah. Being tomorrow a Monday, and a lot of people have work. Call it. Have a fantastic evening. We'll see you not next week, but the following week, and take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.